Yes.
If Hawaii is actually a combination of different cultures, then is the shamanism also? Are there different kinds?
I wouldn't say that Hawaiians are a combination of different cultures. That's too broad. Different family groups under a general culture. But just as in any place today where you can find a particular culture, it always has subdivisions. Let's take an example. I'm going to use American culture right now. If we look at American culture, yeah, it does have a culture. Whether you like it or not, it does. But within what we can call American culture, the parts that are shared by virtually everybody, like Denny's and Kentucky Fried Chicken and all the franchises, and certain kinds of ideas and expectations about life that are shared by everybody, certain things that are shared. Within that, you've got all kinds of fascinating subgroups. There are the Barbie dollars. There are many, many thousands of people, maybe in the millions, who have formed a subculture centered around the Barbie doll, around Star Trek, around Harley Davidson motorcycles, around many, many. What's that?
Elvis Presley.
The Grateful Dead and Elvis Presley. You're right. You got it. So there's all these subcultures. Now this happens in any culture. And sometimes they'll mark themselves off differently because of, by the way they dress, and sometimes the words they use, and sometimes where and how and what they eat, and so forth. But subcultures. So Hawaii had a lot of subcultures too. They had these different religions, and then they had the different, almost like castes, and then they had the different crafts. And all of these actually formed their own subcultures.
So is Huna, how is Huna?
Oh, Huna is part of the esoteric knowledge, under different words shared by a great many of the Hawaiians in the past and the present, but they don't always use this. All the families didn't use always the same words. Esoteric knowledge, yes, they all agree on that there's esoteric knowledge. The specifics of it, they're pretty much the same, although there's variations because of the words used sometimes. And then when you get more specific in the practices, well, then you get more specific in the families and what they teach and what's been passed on. Okay? But Huna is basically the esoteric knowledge. And the particular version I teach is what I learned from the Hawaiian family that adopted me.